Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream here at my YouTube channel. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse today. Hopefully we'll be okay. Today I'm going to be playing with the Cue the Confetti stamp set. Let me get it out from behind the dies so you can see it a little bit better. This is Cue the Confetti stamp set from the Stamptember release over at simonsthestamp.com. And I thought this would make such a great kind of like multi-layered shaker card. I've got an idea in my head. Let's see if it works out. And I'm really hoping it comes out to be bright and colorful and happy, perfect for a birthday card. Before we get started in on today's card, something to note, there is a Stamptember collab release with a company. We don't say who it is before it appears on the Simons to Stamp shop, but that goes up at, well, I'm in the Mountain Time Zone, so it goes up at 10 p.m. for me tonight. And I do have a video for the stamp set that's going up tonight. So you're going to get like a double feature tonight. We've got my live, and then in a few hours, 4 hours from now, if you're watching live, I'm going to have another video popping up on my YouTube channel. So if you don't catch it tonight because it's too late for you, come back tomorrow and you can see that card. And it's a good one. I'm just going to say it's one of my favorites I've done recently. Put it that way. Okay, so this card idea, I've got a little sketch in my sketchbook. Now, this is the one I did live a couple weeks ago. This is the one I'm thinking today. It's going to be a trifold, but both of these panels are going to be clear with acetate. And the one over here with the balloons, it's going to be a shaker card. So we're going to have like essentially 3 layers of clear acetate. And then these balloons up here, they're going to be watercolor to look real fun. And when you open up the card, on the back side of the balloons, you're going to have additional greetings. And then this front panel up here is going to be a heat-resistant acetate with the greeting embossed on it in gold. I'm hoping that'll make it look really nice on both sides. If not, we're going to heat emboss the greeting, die cut it, and then we're going to die cut another piece to go on the back to cover up where it's adhered. It might make more sense as we get going here. All right, so I'm going to put these dies aside for a minute here, and we're going to be working with the stamp set while I do the front of the card. So like I said, I've done a little bit of prep work. I do have some acetate pre-cut, and I don't know if you can see up in the top corner, but I labeled it 1 and 2. This because they're cut a little bit slightly different sizes. This is for that first panel, and I've cut it to be just shy of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I've cut these frames. And this is how we're going to start assembling the card. After I've stamped and embossed this, I'm going to put this frame on top, and then I'm going to adhere this panel to the back panel of my card. I'm going to adhere it over here, and then I'm going to put another little frame right on top, and it's going to keep everything nice and neat, and you want to be able to see where it was adhered. So now that I think about it, before we get to the panel, we need to work on the back of the card, and I use my pencil and we're back on this piece of cardstock. So this one is cut to 4 3/4 wide by 5 1/2 tall. So I'm going to take my Score Buddy. It's like the smaller Score Pal. And I need to score a 1/4 inch off each side. And that's going to create the really tiny little flaps that I'll be adhering the other panels to. So I'm just going to score this right here. Just a 1/4 inch. Oh, let's not go crazy here. 1/4 inch. Then I can rotate this and I'll get that 1/4 inch over here. Okay. And then I can bend up these little edges. I can just crease them down a little bit. And I didn't want to do anything more than a little 1/4 inch flap because, like I said, those panels are acetate, and all we have to work with are these frames. So we can imagine like this frame will be adhered over on this side so that it could open and close. And so I needed it small enough that you wouldn't see it. So the stamp that I'm using for the greeting, I thought this one would be great. It's All About You Today, because it would take up a good chunk of the center of the card. That looks pretty good. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to push that down to that corner. close my MIST-D. All right, now we need to prep this so that it's not going to have as much static. So this is my plan. And I've done this on live before, and it was a mess. So that's why I'm being super careful now. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to use my spray bottle and douse both sides of this acetate really, really well, like it's sopping wet. And then I am drying it off with my paper towel, trying to use the edge of my desk as well. I'm just drying this off. Somehow, like, starting out with it wet just eliminates a whole lot of the static. I'm not sure why that is. I've got another paper towel here ready to dry it off even more. And I'm just going to keep drying this until it's completely dry. We're getting there. And then I'm going to very liberally apply powder to my acetate on the side that I'm going to be embossing. So I'm going to take my Simon's Stamp powder tool. Amanda says, is your paper towel low lint? You know, I don't know that that is a feature that they tout for these paper towels, but I've never noticed any fuzzies or anything coming off of it. So I think we're pretty safe. All right, so here's the powder tool. I'm going to get like a ton of powder. It's hard to see on camera, but I can kind of see it right here. I'm adding a ton of powder. All right, and then I'm using my Versamark ink pad. Let me get some stuff out from underneath my MIST-D over here. Versamark. Okay. And yeah. Okay, so here's my acetate. You can kind of see where I put all that powder. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute while I get my embossing powder ready. I'm using Brutus Monroe Gilded. Thought gold would be a nice, fun color. All right, make sure I press that down. Lift this up. Looks like a great impression. I'm going to apply all of that embossing powder. And it's gonna look scary at first. See, that looks pretty scary. There's embossing powder all over it. But, oh, this is so good. You guys can't see it yet, but it worked out so good. Look at that. I love that. I don't know that there's really any embossing powder in areas where I don't want it. Heat it with my heat tool until the embossing powder melts. Okay. Ta-da. Why did I wet it before? It was a suggestion. I think I got it from Jennifer McGuire or maybe from, I don't know, maybe Kathy. I can't remember who I got it from. But they said that if you wet down the acetate, it reduces static cling where, you know, like that's the issue that's the biggest when it comes to acetate is there's just so much static involved that it's hard to heat emboss really cleanly. So you have to eliminate all of the static cling as much as you can. And when you kind of use that water and kind of douse it down, it gets rid of any of the static. So that's why. And then to clean up the powder that's still sticking around, I can just use my paper towel. Actually, I'm not going to use my paper towel. I'm going to use a microfiber cloth. Let me go grab one. It's around the corner here. And using a microfiber cloth is great for picking up powder after using anti-static powder because the properties of the towel really help that powder cling to it. Okay, and it's a really soft cloth, so it's not going to bother anything. I'm just going to wipe both sides just to be safe. Okay, so now I'm going to take one of these frames and I'm going to be putting it right over the top, and then we can kind of create the first panel on our card. I'm going to adhere my frame using some really thin red line tape from Simon. I believe this is the 1/8 inch tape. I'm using heat resistant acetate from Simon's Stamp. Let me show you what the packaging looks like in a moment here. It's their heavyweight acetate. I'll show you right here. They're clear acetate sheets. You get 5, 8.5 by 11. I keep all my leftover pieces in the original packaging, but that's it. It's their clear acetate sheets. They also have a lightweight acetate, which is great, but and I considered using it, but since this was going to be essentially the entire front panel of my card, I knew I needed a little extra weight to it, so I went with the original heat-resistant acetate. Putting the frame down, put this one down, face down as well. And like I said, it is just shy of for like the same size, so. And then I'll just press this down. Okay, it's still a little wonky, but totally okay. All right, I'm gonna go back to the panel on the back of my card. Where'd it go? It's right here. And now I need to add that red line tape to one of the flaps on the card itself. That was a good practice run. Okay. And then all right, looks like the back of my card. You see there's a little thing there. I'm gonna have to trim that off. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, but here's the first panel of my card. Now we're gonna come to the back and we're gonna put more of this red line tape all around and then put on that last frame. I didn't even tell you what I used to make the frame. So let's go over that now. These frames were made using Waffle Flowers A2 layers dies. I used the largest and the 4th largest from the inside. So the frames might not be exactly perfect. So that's another reason why I wanted to like get out the frame and kind of like make sure it's gonna line up just right and have it look okay on both sides. I mean, I tried to get it as perfect as possible, but it might not be. See, you see how that one's kind of, this one end's a little bit thicker than the other. So I'm gonna swap that around. Oh yeah, that looks much better. I'm going to be adhering it like this, but I want that length taken off this side. So I'm going to take my little mini trimmer right here, and I'm just gonna take a little sliver off this one side just to make sure it's not going to be too much on my card front. I don't want to take off a lot, just like a tiny, tiny bit. I took off that much, like an itty bitty bit. Okay, keeping that orientation. All right, so now I'm going to put that one in the corner. Let's see, how do I do this? I'm going to put that one, this one in the corner as well. Okay, I don't know. I didn't have much of a shot there. Okay, it didn't line up perfectly, but you know what? That is okay. All right, so now we're going to work on the back panel. And I've got 2 more frames for that. And the way we're going to do it is I have another piece of acetate here, plus Waffle Flower shaker covers for A2 cards. And I'm really hoping that these flaps, once they're folded over, won't show with that frame. I think it's going to be kind of close, but we'll see. Because then I can just put this inside. Get that centered just right. And then fold up the flaps. So much better. Okay. All right, so now we have our little pocket, a little clear little pocket. And the sequins I've chosen are Hollow Rainbows from Simon. Okay. You know, I probably could have cut the adhesive strips. You know what, let's just check the frame. Will it work? I think the frame's gonna work. Yes. Okay, the frame's gonna work. Okay, so I need enough in here that it's really gonna show. So I might have to just put in this. All right, goodbye sequins. All right, and then peel this up and fold this down. So all the sequins are trapped inside now. And now I just need to adhere these frames. And before I do the back frame, I'll do the same thing where I adhere it to the card base. Okay, no longer than a week. Okay, let's try this again. Alrighty. So we want it to come in about like that. So I'm just gonna fold that flap in. I didn't even push it against the bottom there, but that's okay. I was more concerned about getting it in the right spot. Okay. Now it will close, but the frames are not lining up. You know, this is what happens. This is a trial run of a first card design. This is what happened. Like if I was gonna do it again, I think, you know, it probably would have been smarter to adhere the clear shaker, close it, and then put the frame on after so that it could get lined up with the front. But you know what? Not a huge deal. All right, well, here we are. Because now we're not going to be able to fold this one. So cute, Christina. So cute. Okay. Oh. Okay, how am I doing this? I just need to cut a little bit off this one end. You know what? I probably could just do this. Are you kidding me? There's like the little tiny... Ugh. Okay. Whatever. All right. It's the inside of a card. It's homemade. This is what happens. Okay. But now it at least folds. It opens and closes and it folds. So we can't complain about it too much, right? Run this through. Because the balloons are symmetrical, this works well for putting on the back as well. Hi. Okay. There we go. Ta-da. Okay. You're all coming to the same conclusion right now that I am. Yeah, we're not liking the balloons. Maybe use that paper. Okay. Sorry, balloons. Thankfully, because it's acetate, it's coming off. Well, this one doesn't want to come off nicely, but we're just going to cover it up anyway, so it won't matter. We're destroying the card. And then, you know, with the cutout of this paper, maybe then I'll just keep the white background. Oh, those are bright. Really. And let's do... Okay, so that'll be, oh, I like that. That's cute. That I can do to mess this up. Because if I'm going to remake the card, let's get those out of the way so I can get this lined up. Okay. The good thing about it is that you can see a little bit of the color underneath, and I kind of like that better now. That looks cute. Okay, and it is a twin marker. All right, I'm gonna move all the sequins to the top so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to do a little of that. And then I can just draw the strings on the other side as well. Yeah, they do look like balloons now. So then on this side, I need some white cardstock to go behind it so I can actually see what's happening. There we go. Okay. So now I'm just going to do those same lines on this side. Hold on, I gotta get right on top of it again. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but that's okay. Okay. Much better. Okay. Then we'll put this right in the center. And then, wha-bam, and then wha-bam. In fact, I probably still could save this card, cutting off the front panel, gluing on a little scored thing. So, well, you know what? Let's just do it. Okay, it needs to be scored at exactly 4.5. 4.5. And then I'm going to score it at 4 3/4 as well. And that's going to give me a little bit of room for the fold. You see that? How it's got that space now? Okay. All right, and then when I adhere this one, it's just going to go, that's not going to line up, is it? If this is in all the way to that edge. And then I want it all the way over here like that. The front is like, that's not going to be right. And then I can just have a little extension. Okay, lovely. Perfect. So now that can be right there, and I can line it up with the frame below. Okay. So it's a labor of love, but we got there. We got there. We got there eventually. And the frames line up now. It's not the prettiest over here, like on the side, but it does give me the measurements so that if I wanted to recreate it, I could recreate it and it would look a whole lot better. So here is the finished card. A little bit of a Frankenstein moment, stitching this together at the end, but it does all line up now. So some of those kind of construction issues are resolved. So I do like that I took the extra time to do that. I think it looks great. This is not going to fit into a regular A2 card envelope anymore. It's going to have to go in something a little bigger. It's thicker. It's a little wider. That's okay. I've got some A6 envelopes that'll work. Thanks so much for joining me tonight for this kind of like a trial run for this trifold card. But I think it turned out really cute. Thanks so much for joining me. I will be back in a few hours, actually, with that Stamptember collaboration video. Don't want to miss that, so come back for that. And if you don't have time to watch it, you can catch it tomorrow or later this week or whatever. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in another video very, very, very soon. Thanks for watching.